Well, thanks for sitting down with me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. This is Marc. Can you say your last name because I know I'll screw it up?
Menchaca.
Menchaca.
Yeah.
From This Is Where We Live. He wrote and directed it and stars in it as well. I saw it at South by Southwest, and it's here at the Dallas International Film Festival right now. So this is where we're catching up with him. Marc, this is your first film where you've written and directed it. So how's this experience been for you?
It's been good. I mean, it was super fun to write. Very frustrating. Being a first-time writer, trying to figure out like how to get a screenplay done. But in the end, very rewarding and just fun to kind of. It's like a different part of, like, you get to access like a different part of your imagination than you do as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And directing, I co-directed with Josh Barrett, and who we met on Generation Kill. I think about 6 years ago, and the directing part of it was great. Josh did a phenomenal job. He I don't think the film would have gotten made without him. And we it was a very collaborative. I bounced every script off of him, so he knew the story very well. And when we started shooting, he would times he would pull me aside and say, I'm gonna talk to you as an actor right now. And at other times he would say, okay, let's talk as directors, what we want, like the story we want in this scene or whatever. But it was great. I mean, it's just it's a lot of fun to be the captain of your own ship on a project and have creative control and do whatever what you want to do. And so it's been a really great experience.
Where did this story come from?
It was the story kind of came just I don't know. With writing, I think just sometimes your mind just takes control, and I just felt like I was writing. I wasn't doing that. That's old school, I guess, but I was typing. Just kind of took control. But the character of August in the film was inspired by a good friend of mine named Thomas Mitchum, who has cerebral palsy and who's become a very good friend of mine. And that my relationship with him was just something that I want to give to other people. I just found it's been so meaningful to me, and he's one of my closest friends. He probably knows more about me than anybody else. And he's just like a super great friend. So that's where that part of the story came from, and then the rest was just kind of informed. Some of it was informed by the house that we set the family in, and some of it just came out of this weird and fun process of writing something.
Yeah. Where was this filmed? This was filmed in Texas, right?
We filmed in Llano and in a tiny town outside of Llano. It's not even really a town anymore. The speed limit is 55 through the town.
Yeah.
Called Pontotoc. An old football coach of mine grew up in a house out in Pontotoc, and his son is my age, or one of his sons, and the family just very generously lent us the house and said, you can shoot as long as you want, and do whatever you want. So, and then we shot a little bit outside of San Angelo, which is out in West Texas.
Okay. How long did you shoot this for?
We did 17 days of principal photography, and then we came back a couple months later to do 5 days of reshoots and and then some pickups that we hadn't got.
Wow, that's really fast.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 22 days. It was 21 or 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, were you limited to that, or is that all it took to get what you wanted?
We, as Josh has said, we didn't have the budget of an Iron Man or anything. So we did, I mean, because of our budget, we had to get it done in a certain amount of time. And, with a project like this, it's like you are kind of running and gunning the whole time. And
Yeah.
we would get as much done as we could in a day. Sometimes we usually would get between 6 and 9 pages done in a day, which is a lot.
Okay. Let's talk about August. Tobias Siegel, am I saying that right? Plays him. Where did you find him? Because honestly, during it, I was like, oh, this guy totally has cerebral palsy in real life. There's no way. But then he got up on the stage afterwards, and I was like, are you kidding me? That's amazing. Where did you find him?
Tobias and I did a film together in, I guess, the fall of 2011. And he's a New York actor. We had never met before, but we ended up doing this film together out in the high desert of California, and it was pretty much a two-hander. So we worked together nonstop for, I don't know, 11 or 12 days. And during that process, my script was pretty much finished, and I passed it to him. We worked so much together, and I realized during that time, I kept saying that this guy's such a really great actor, and I was looking. I read some actors who had cerebral palsy to play the part, and we had gotten in touch with them through this. We worked with an organization called Alliance for the Inclusion in the Arts, and they got us in touch with some actors, and they didn't work out for one reason or another. And when Tobias and I were shooting, his just how he is physically really worked for me, and I knew he was a great actor, and we just ended up. I sent it to him, and he read it and said he loved it, and talked a little bit more, and then I ended up offering it to him, and before we shot, we went down to Austin, and he spent about 4 days with my friend Thomas, and and this was one of the key things, was that Thomas and Tobias really just clicked, and I wasn't with them most of the time. They just hung out together, and then next thing I knew, Tobias brought this incredible character to the film.
Wow. What was that like, seeing him just transform into this other person? It was pretty crazy. For me, it was, because I hadn't beforehand. I trusted Tobias. I knew that he was very good, and I knew that he would get the job done. And I thought, if we need to cut around certain things, like if we need to do close-ups, if everything's not working, we can do that. And the night before we started shooting, we had, I was doing other stuff, like getting the film ready to go into production, and so we just didn't have time, and I just put him with Thomas and let them hang out. And the night before we started shooting, we had gone out to the house that we were shooting at, and I asked Tobias, I said, do you want to go inside, go in the house and just kind of improv some stuff and just see what happens? And he said, yeah, let's do it. And I was very nervous when we went in, because we were starting shooting the next day, and I had no idea what was about to happen. And he got down on the floor, and I was sitting on the couch, and he got down on the floor, and I choked up. I just sat there, and I was like, I can't believe what this guy's doing. I mean, it really was incredible what he did. I mean, he did such a good job, and I have to give
credit to Thomas, to my friend who kind of welcomed him in and just allowed him to see kind of everything that, like his daily routine from the moment he got up to showering to going out to eat and dinner and going to the bathroom, everything. Thomas was just so generous, and he allowed Tobias to see that without having known him before. So.
Yeah. That was great. Let's also talk about C.K. McFarland, because she's pretty amazing as well. I mean, has she done anything else before this, or is she pretty new?
She's out of Austin, Texas, and she's worked a lot on productions that have come through Texas, and I know CK. She was a teacher of mine years ago in Austin, and when I was writing, I had her in mind, and I eventually went to her with the script and had her read it, and she came back and said she would love to do it, and it hit kind of close to home for her, just with some circumstances in her family, and she did a phenomenal job. She was in the end, like, people have responded so well to that character, and I know that there was some concern that she was maybe gonna come off as this extremely overprotective and not really a loving character, but what we have gotten, and when we were editing, we just saw this lady who was going through her life in the way that anybody would if they were in that circumstance. She was just dealing with it, and I think she did a great job, and the response to her character has been pretty phenomenal. So.
Yeah, I can say the scene where she's in bed with her husband, that was really powerful, where he's still there at that moment. Wow. That was amazing.
That was one of, that scene came about pretty late in the game, and when I wrote it, it was, there's a couple of, she says one thing in that scene, or no, they say hi to each other, and she says, "There you are," and it's a very quiet scene, but it was after I wrote it, and I wasn't patting my own back. I kept going back to that scene, and I said, I think this is my favorite scene in the movie, because I think it says so much, and CK and Ron both did. Ron did such a good job with the character of Bob, and CK with Diane, and their chemistry in that scene was, I was just sitting, I was just watching monitor, and I was like, don't cut, just keep rolling.
Yeah.
Because we were getting so much good stuff out of it.
It was really good. What are the hopes for this film for you?
Obviously, we hope that as many people that are able to see it, that we can get it out to them. And in the end, it's kind of it's a funny question. It's almost kind of like a question about awards, and it's a necessary evil. We made this, and we're very proud of it, and I wouldn't change anything about it. I guess in the grand scheme of things, I hope, whether we get a theatrical distribution or distribution with video on demand or whatever it comes to, we want to be able to reach as many people as possible, because it's a very special story to me, and I think it says a lot about our humanity, we're also hoping that we can partner up with United Cerebral Palsy or an organization that's an advocate for disabilities, because that was one thing that was very, very important to me in writing this, that I wanted the character of August to be seen as a regular person, not as a saint, not as someone that you pity because he has a disability, but as a person that has a point of view and is smart. It may not seem that way from your first impression of him, but and that's what I found in my friend Thomas. Was when I first met him, it was like two foreigners just looking at each other, and I've come to know him. He's a really great friend now, and I just came to find that he has something to say about everything, even though he can only say one word.
Yeah.
Verbally, he can speak volumes in that one word, and if he uses his board, he'll say something much more eloquent than I would say in one sentence. But I think for the disability community that we want this to be something that is beneficial to them in some way or another.
So have you had any talks with anyone about picking up the film yet, or?
We've talked to a couple of people, and we're doing we're doing some things in the summer that are going to be more, that will shed more light on that.
Okay.
We've got some more festivals coming up. We're doing Florida. I leave tomorrow to go to Florida Film Festival, and then we're doing Nashville, and then there's some others that we just submitted to that we're waiting to hear back on. And then in the summer we have, with our PR team, we've got a couple of things that are being set up. Yeah, that are being set up.
Well, I'm not caught up on Homeland because I don't have premium cable, but I guess I would be amiss to not say anything about Homeland. Apparently you're in season 2?
I did one episode in season 1, which was...
I've seen season 1, now this is going to bug me.
Yeah. I'm the vet who is kind of the drunk truth sayer.
Okay.
I was in the backyard barbecue.
Okay.
I have crutches.
Okay.
And
might have to go back and see that.
I called out Mike having the affair with Brody's wife.
Ah, okay. All right.
It's like a backyard barbecue. It's after it's after the funeral or the memorial service for Tom. I forget his name, Tom, whatever. And then it was kind of a one-off part, and then they ended up bringing it back for the second season. And I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, okay. And you're going to be in season 3 as well?
I don't know. I don't know these things. They run a tight ship.
Yeah.
We'll just say that. And I'm not running a tight ship here. It's kind of unknown what's happening third season, which is fine for me.
Yeah. So, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for sitting down with us.
Thanks a lot.
So this is where we live. Catch it on the festival circuit. Might be coming to a festival near you.
Florida, Nashville. And then we're on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Yes. So please check it out, and hopefully I'll have a review up for it soon. So just keep checking the website. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.